Chosen one, these will occur December 25th. God just claimed it all. Certain dates carry a weight that is felt rather than explained. December 25th stands as one of those moments, not because of noise or spectacle, but because of resolution. For the chosen one, this day represents a point where what has been scattered begins to gather, where uncertainty gives way to order, and where authority is reclaimed at a higher level. The phrase, "God just claimed it all," does not suggest loss or removal. It speaks to alignment. It speaks to ownership being restored to its rightful source, so that what follows can unfold with clarity, protection, and purpose. What occurs on this day is not random. It reflects a shift that has been forming quietly, often beyond visibility, waiting for the right moment to settle into place. Stay with this message until the very end, because each part builds on what comes before it. And write your warmest wishes in the comments and include 144 as a symbol of alignment and focused intention, allowing this moment to be acknowledged and gently energized as part of a shared flow. Now, chosen one, press the hype button, like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and let's start. December 25th marks a point of consolidation. For the chosen one, it is a day where fragmented efforts, delayed outcomes, and unanswered questions begin to realign. This does not always happen through dramatic events. More often, it happens through internal certainty. You may feel a quiet knowing that something has shifted, even if circumstances have not yet fully reflected it. This knowing matters. It signals that authority has been restored at the level that governs timing and direction. When something is claimed at a higher level, it no longer remains subject to confusion or interference. It becomes protected by order. For the chosen one, this means that what belongs to you, clarity, direction, provision, and purpose, can no longer be scattered by doubt or delay. December 25th functions as a marker where that reclaiming completes itself. You may notice that your internal state feels steadier around this time, less questioning, less emotional fluctuation. This steadiness is not indifference. It is alignment. It indicates that you are no longer negotiating with uncertainty. You are standing on settled ground. This day does not demand action. It demands awareness. Awareness allows you to recognize what no longer needs effort. When something is claimed, it no longer requires defense. The chosen one understands that true authority does not struggle to assert itself. It simply holds. There may be things that quietly fall away around this time. Expectations that no longer fit. Attachments that no longer serve. These releases are not losses. They are recalibrations. What is claimed cannot be carried alongside what no longer aligns. December 25th also carries a tone of completion. Not the end of a journey, but the end of a phase where control was fragmented. From this point forward, direction becomes cleaner. Decisions feel less conflicted. You are no longer pulled in opposing directions internally. You may sense that outcomes you once worried about now feel less urgent. This does not mean they no longer matter. It means you trust the process governing them. Trust replaces tension. The chosen one recognizes that when authority is restored, timing no longer needs to be forced. There is also a strengthening of inner boundaries during this period. You become clearer about what you allow access to your energy and attention. This clarity protects what has been claimed. Protection is not about fear. It is about stewardship. You may feel less compelled to explain yourself or justify your path. This quiet confidence is not arrogance. It is alignment. When something is settled internally, it does not require external confirmation. This day may pass quietly on the surface. That does not reduce its significance. Some of the most important shifts occur without announcement. They reveal their impact over time through stability rather than spectacle. What occurs on December 25th is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to stabilize you, to place things back into order so that what unfolds next does so with less resistance. Remain grounded as this day approaches. Do not rush interpretation. Allow clarity to settle naturally. The Chosen One understands that when something is claimed at its source, the effects continue unfolding long after the moment itself has passed. This first phase opens awareness to that truth. What has been reclaimed no longer requires pursuit. It requires presence. And from that presence, the next movements will form, steadily, intentionally, and under an authority that supports alignment rather than struggle. As this alignment continues beyond the moment itself, the Chosen One may begin to recognize subtle confirmations that order has been restored. These confirmations do not arrive as loud signs or dramatic declarations. They arrive as stability. You may notice that situations which once felt fragile now feel held. Decisions that once felt heavy now feel straightforward. This is the effect of something being claimed at its source. Confusion loses authority, and coherence takes its place. During this phase, there is often a shift in how you relate to waiting. Waiting no longer feels like uncertainty or punishment. It feels purposeful. You sense that timing is no longer random, but governed. This governance brings relief. You are no longer trying to manage every outcome because you recognize that direction is already set at a higher level. The Chosen One learns to rest within this structure rather than resist it. You may also notice a quiet strengthening of trust, not blind trust, but grounded trust, rooted in experience. You have seen cycles complete before. You have seen delays resolve. Now, instead of bracing for disappointment, you remain open without anxiety. This openness allows what has been claimed to unfold without obstruction. There can be moments where clarity arrives unexpectedly. An insight settles. A concern dissolves. A path feels suddenly obvious. These moments are not coincidences. They are signs that interference has been removed. When authority is restored, clarity becomes accessible without struggle. This stage often brings a refined sense of discernment. You are better able to recognize what aligns and what does not, without overthinking. You do not need to analyze every option. You sense direction intuitively. The Chosen One understands that discernment is not judgment. It is alignment in motion. You may find that emotional reactions soften during this time. Triggers that once caused immediate response lose intensity. This does not mean you feel less. It means you are less controlled by reaction. Emotional regulation becomes natural rather than forced. This stability protects what has been claimed. There is also an invitation here to release responsibility for things that were never yours to carry. When authority is reclaimed at its source, you are freed from managing outcomes that require higher coordination. This release does not make you passive. It makes you precise. You focus on what is yours to tend and allow the rest to resolve in order. You may notice that your energy feels more contained and focused. You are less scattered, less pulled by competing demands. This focus allows you to engage more deeply with what matters. The Chosen One understands that alignment concentrates energy rather than dispersing it. This phase can also bring clarity around endings that do not require confrontation. Some chapters close quietly. Some expectations fade without conflict. This is not avoidance, it is resolution. What no longer belongs does not need to be argued away. It simply loses relevance. You may also feel less urgency to prove faith, patience, or readiness. These qualities are no longer being tested. They have been established. What has been claimed does not require performance. It requires presence. There is often a sense of internal permission that arrives during this stage. Permission to move forward without guilt. Permission to rest without fear. Permission to trust without constant verification. This permission stabilizes you emotionally and mentally. As December 25th settles into memory rather than anticipation, you may realize that its impact continues quietly. You are not chasing a moment. You are living from a shift. This shift alters how you approach what comes next. Remain attentive without tension. There is nothing to force and nothing to guard aggressively. What has been reclaimed is protected by order, not by effort. The chosen one remains aligned by staying aware, not by staying anxious. This second phase is about integration. Allow what has been settled to inform how you think, choose, and respond. Integration takes time, but it unfolds naturally when resistance is absent. And as this process continues, you move forward with a steadier presence, aware that what occurred on December 25th was not an ending, but a restoration. From that restoration, future movement unfolds with greater clarity, stability, and support than before. As this restoration continues to settle, the chosen one may begin to notice a change in how authority is experienced internally. You are no longer seeking control over outcomes, nor are you surrendering to uncertainty. Instead, you occupy a grounded middle space where direction feels steady, even when details remain incomplete. This balance is significant. It signals that governance has shifted from reaction to alignment. In this phase, life begins to feel less fragmented. Thoughts, intentions, and actions start to move in the same direction. You are not pulled between opposing impulses as often. This coherence reduces internal noise and allows focus to sharpen naturally. The chosen one recognizes that when inner alignment is present, external clarity follows without force. You may also notice that your sense of timing becomes more refined. You are less inclined to rush decisions or delay them unnecessarily. You act when action is appropriate, and pause when waiting serves clarity. This pacing is intuitive rather than calculated. It reflects trust in the structure that has been restored. There is often a subtle release of old vigilance during this stage. You may realize that you are no longer bracing for disruption or disappointment in the same way. This does not mean you are careless. It means you are no longer governed by fear. When something is claimed at its source, constant defense is no longer required. This phase can also bring insight into where effort is no longer needed. Tasks, concerns, or dynamics that once consumed energy may begin to resolve with less involvement from you. This reduction of strain is not loss of responsibility. It is redistribution. You focus on what is yours to carry and release what is not. You may find that your confidence feels quieter but more durable. It does not rise and fall with circumstance. It remains present even when outcomes are still unfolding. This confidence allows you to engage with challenges without being destabilized by them. The chosen one understands that true stability does not require constant reinforcement. There is also a noticeable shift in how you perceive obstacles. Instead of interpreting them as resistance, you begin to see them as information. Information helps you adjust course without frustration. This perspective transforms setbacks into guidance rather than discouragement. Emotionally, this stage often brings a sense of composure. You are less reactive to uncertainty and less attached to immediate resolution. This composure creates space for discernment. Discernment ensures that choices are made from clarity rather than pressure. You may also notice that your boundaries feel clearer. You are more aware of what you allow into your mental and emotional space. This clarity protects the restoration that has occurred. Protection here is not defensive. It is intentional. This phase encourages attentiveness without overanalysis. You are present to what is unfolding, but you are not attempting to interpret every signal. You allow meaning to reveal itself through experience rather than speculation. The chosen one trusts the process enough to remain calm within it. There can be moments of quiet recognition during this time. A realization that something you once worried about no longer holds the same weight. A sense that a chapter has closed without needing explanation. These recognitions confirm that order has been restored at a deeper level. You may also feel a growing sense of internal permission. Permission to move forward without justification. Permission to change direction without apology. Permission to trust your own discernment. This permission stabilizes decision-making and reduces internal conflict. As this stage unfolds, you are not being asked to accelerate. You are being asked to remain aligned. Alignment allows movement to happen naturally when conditions are ready. The chosen one understands that forcing timing disrupts order, while respecting timing supports it. This phase is about consolidation rather than expansion. You are integrating what has been restored into daily awareness. This integration ensures that the shift is lasting rather than temporary. Remain steady as this process continues. There is no need to announce what has changed. Its impact will reveal itself through consistency, clarity, and reduced resistance over time. And as this third phase settles, you move forward with a calmer presence, aware that what was claimed on December 25th continues to shape direction quietly, creating a foundation of order from which future movement can unfold with confidence and ease. As this alignment deepens, the chosen one may begin to sense a shift in how responsibility is carried. It no longer feels like something imposed from the outside. It feels integrated. You understand what is yours to tend and what is no longer yours to manage. This distinction brings relief. When authority has been restored at its source, effort becomes more precise rather than more intense. During this phase, you may notice that your inner dialogue grows quieter. Questions that once looped endlessly now settle more easily. You are not forcing certainty. You are allowing clarity to arrive at its own pace. This quiet is not emptiness. It is stability. Stability creates the conditions for right action to emerge without pressure. There is also a refinement in how you respond to external demands. You no longer feel compelled to react immediately to everything that asks for your attention. You pause. You assess. You choose. This pause protects alignment. The chosen one understands that not every request deserves access, and not every moment requires response. You may find that your sense of value becomes more internal during this time. Approval, validation, or recognition from others feels less central. You are guided more by coherence than by comparison. This shift strengthens confidence without inflating ego. Confidence rooted in alignment does not need to be defended. This phase often brings a clearer relationship with limits. You recognize when something has reached completion, even if it does not look finished from the outside. You also recognize when something still needs time. This awareness prevents premature endings and unnecessary prolonging. The chosen one learns to respect natural closure. Emotionally, you may notice greater resilience. Unexpected changes do not unsettle you as easily. You adapt without losing orientation. This adaptability is not flexibility born of uncertainty. It is flexibility grounded in trust. When order has been restored, change no longer feels threatening. There may also be moments where insight arrives through simplicity. A straightforward decision, a clean boundary, a quiet realization. These moments carry weight because they reduce complexity. Reduction of complexity is a sign that alignment is working. You may notice that your energy feels more contained and directed. You are less scattered across possibilities and more engaged with what is present. This containment does not limit you. It focuses you. Focus allows progress to be sustained rather than fragmented. This stage also encourages patience with outcomes. You are no longer measuring success by immediate results. You are attentive to consistency, stability, and direction. The chosen one understands that outcomes mature over time when order is present. You may feel less urgency to explain your process to others. Some shifts are internal and do not require external narration. This discretion protects what is still settling. What has been claimed does not need to be defended through explanation. There is also a deepening sense of trust in timing. You no longer feel behind or ahead. You feel positioned. This positioning allows you to engage when movement is required and remain still when it is not. Both are forms of participation. As this phase continues, notice how your reactions have changed. Notice where tension has eased. Notice where clarity has replaced effort. These observations are not meant to be analyzed heavily. They are confirmations that alignment is active. You are not being asked to anticipate what comes next. You are being asked to remain present to what is unfolding now. Presence allows recognition. Recognition allows response that is aligned rather than reactive. This part of the process is about stabilization. You are grounding the restoration that occurred so it can support future movement. Stability ensures that what follows does not undo what has been settled. Remain attentive without strain. Remain open without expectation. What has been claimed continues to organize itself through consistency rather than force. And as this fourth phase integrates, you move forward with a steadier internal compass, aware that order is no longer something you are seeking, but something you are standing within, allowing the next developments to arise from a place of clarity, restraint, and trust. As this process continues to mature, the chosen one may begin to notice that alignment is no longer something you consciously check for. It is simply present. You move through situations with a sense of orientation that does not require constant adjustment. This ease is not complacency. It is the result of order settling deeply enough to guide action without effort. During this phase, you may find that your relationship with uncertainty has changed again. Uncertainty no longer triggers analysis or emotional tension. It feels neutral, sometimes even spacious. You understand that not knowing everything does not limit movement. It allows timing to work without interference. The chosen one becomes comfortable allowing outcomes to take shape rather than forcing them into form. There is often a noticeable strengthening of inner authority here. You make decisions without seeking reassurance or permission. You do not need external confirmation to validate direction. This authority is quiet, grounded, and consistent. It does not assert itself loudly. It simply guides action naturally. You trust it because it has proven reliable. You may also observe that your standards for engagement continue to refine. You are selective not because you feel superior, but because you value coherence. You choose environments, conversations, and commitments that support clarity rather than disrupt it. This selectivity preserves energy and protects the stability that has been restored. Emotionally, this stage often brings a sense of calm confidence. You are not driven by urgency or fear of missing out. You trust that what aligns will meet you at the right moment. This trust reduces pressure and allows you to stay present rather than anticipatory. There may be moments where you recognize how differently you respond to situations that once unsettled you. Instead of reacting, you observe. Instead of resisting, you adjust. This responsiveness is not passivity, it is precision. The chosen one understands that effective movement comes from awareness, not force. This phase also supports clarity around responsibility. You no longer take on what is not yours to carry. At the same time, you do not avoid what is yours. Responsibility feels balanced. It aligns with capacity rather than obligation. This balance prevents exhaustion and supports sustainability. You may notice that your communication becomes simpler and more intentional. You say less, but what you say carries more weight. You listen without preparing defense. This clarity strengthens interactions and reduces unnecessary conflict. There is also a growing ease in how you relate to progress. You are less concerned with measuring it and more focused on maintaining alignment. Progress becomes something you live rather than something you monitor. This shift stabilizes momentum. As this stage unfolds, you may feel a quiet satisfaction that does not seek expression. Satisfaction rooted in internal order rather than external achievement. This satisfaction keeps you grounded and prevents overextension. This phase is not about acceleration. It is about consistency. You are establishing a rhythm that can be maintained without strain. Rhythm supports longevity. The chosen one understands that what lasts must be lived steadily. You may also sense that your intuition has become more integrated with practical decision-making. Insight and action are no longer separate. You sense direction and move accordingly without internal debate. This integration reduces friction and supports clarity. There is nothing here that requires announcement or validation. What has shifted is evident through how you carry yourself and how you respond to life. Alignment expresses itself quietly. As this phase continues, remain attentive to simplicity. Complexity often signals misalignment. When things feel clean and straightforward, order is present. You are not being asked to prepare for what comes next. You are already prepared. What unfolds from here will do so in response to the steadiness you now carry. And as this fifth phase settles, you move forward with a composed presence, aware that authority has been restored, clarity has stabilized, and alignment is no longer something you reach for, but something you embody as the next developments begin to take shape. As this final phase completes, the chosen one begins to recognize that what occurred on December 25th was not meant to be isolated in memory. It was meant to recalibrate how you move forward. The effects are subtle but persistent. You are not returning to old patterns of doubt or overcorrection. You are continuing from a place where direction feels internally established. There is a steady confidence present now that does not depend on circumstance. You do not feel the need to constantly assess whether things are working. You can sense when alignment is present, and you trust it. This trust removes urgency. You are no longer rushing to secure outcomes or protect yourself from imagined disruption. Stability has replaced vigilance. You may notice that your relationship with effort feels more balanced. You engage where engagement is required, and you step back where restraint serves clarity. This balance conserves energy. The chosen one understands that sustainable movement is not driven by constant exertion, but by well-timed action. This stage also brings a deeper acceptance of responsibility without weight. You are aware that what unfolds next will require care, attention, and integrity. This awareness does not feel burdensome. It feels appropriate. Responsibility aligns with capacity. You are ready to tend what comes rather than rush past it. This readiness ensures continuity rather than disruption. You may feel less compelled to anticipate challenges, not because challenges will not arise, but because you trust your ability to respond when they do. This confidence is not based on certainty. It is based on adaptability. You have learned how to remain grounded even when conditions change. There is also a refinement in how you relate to expectations. You are no longer projecting fixed outcomes onto the future. You allow direction to reveal itself through engagement. This openness prevents disappointment and supports clarity. The chosen one understands that flexibility preserves alignment. You may notice that your internal dialogue remains calm even when decisions carry weight. You do not spiral into overanalysis. You assess, choose, and move forward. This decisiveness is grounded rather than impulsive. It reflects authority that has settled internally. As this phase integrates, you may realize that you no longer need markers or dates to validate alignment. Alignment has become continuous. You carry it forward through consistency, awareness, and restraint. What mattered about December 25th was not the day itself, but what it established. There is nothing here to force and nothing to defend. What has been claimed remains intact because it is supported by order rather than effort. You remain attentive, but not tense. Engaged, but not pressured. This final phase is about continuity. You are no longer transitioning. You are operating. The clarity that formed now guides daily decisions quietly and reliably. This guidance does not fluctuate with mood or circumstance. It remains steady. As you move forward from this point, you do so without needing to announce change. Change is evident in how you respond, how you choose, and how you remain composed. The chosen one understands that real shifts reveal themselves through behavior, not declaration. What unfolds next will meet you at the level you are now carrying. Not the level of uncertainty you once held, but the level of clarity, responsibility, and steadiness that has been established. And as this sequence completes, you continue forward, grounded and attentive, aware that authority has been restored, order has settled, and alignment is no longer something you are waiting for. It is something you are living step by step with calm confidence and trust in what unfolds next. As life moves forward beyond this point, the chosen one begins to notice that the restoration experienced around December 25th has quietly reshaped daily engagement. You are no longer orienting yourself around uncertainty or reacting to shifting conditions. Instead, you move with a settled awareness that informs choices without demanding constant attention. This awareness does not fade. It stabilizes. In this stage, participation feels natural. You are not watching life from a distance, waiting for confirmation or permission. You are engaged where engagement matters, and reserved where restraint preserves clarity. This balance allows momentum to continue without exhaustion. The chosen one understands that sustainable movement depends on pacing as much as intention. You may observe that your confidence now rests in continuity rather than outcomes. You trust the process because you trust your capacity to respond. This trust removes the need to anticipate every possibility. When something requires action, you recognize it. When something requires patience, you honor it. Direction remains clear even when details are still forming. There is also a noticeable ease in how you handle responsibility. You no longer carry it as weight or avoid it as pressure. You hold it as structure. Structure supports consistency. In this way, responsibility becomes something that stabilizes progress rather than interrupts it.